Okay. So what we'll do, we have about 50 minutes, and so what I'll do is I'll walk through how to edit content that's on the website and how to add content to the different parts of the website. And like I said, because we haven't set up your site editor accounts yet, you won't be able to kind of do this as on your own computers, but at least you can kind of follow along, watch the screen, and feel free to ask questions as I go, okay? All right. So like I was saying, this black toolbar is sort of the editor toolbar, and that's going to come up if you have the proper access when you log in. So Nuruddin has access, so he's logged in, and he gets this toolbar up here. The main section to be concerned about, or that you're going to spend a lot of time in if you're responsible for content on the website, is the content section. So if you can see that, and I know it's a little bit hard, maybe I can bump up the thing here, is it? There we go. So content and add content, and there's a bunch of different options here. So let me start with kind of some of the easier ones, and then we'll sort of work our way towards some of the more complicated ones. So there's a news item content type. So what these are called content types. So like imagine they're records in a database. So earlier we were talking about the faculty, staff, and students records that you have access to, and we were editing your own faculty record or your own staff record. There's records or record types, content types for other things on the website. So there's a content type for news item. So let me show you what the news page looks like first. So here's the latest news. And what these are is just kind of simple web pages. If I were to click on one of these, it would have a date and a little snippet of text. It can have more text if it needs to. So to add a new news item to the website, it's content, add content, news item. And so you'll see a form that looks similar to the faculty form or the grad student form. There's different fields, obviously, that are specific to adding a news item, but it should look a little bit familiar, right? There's a title field. So you enter in the title of the news item, so-and-so wins award. The day is just kind of the date line that's going to appear on the news item. There's an optional image. Works the same way as that image field does, like on the faculty and grad student records, staff records. And then the body, you can type in whatever that news item is. There are a few more options here because we're in a kind of a higher level of access, but the ones that you're going to use are the same. We have bold, italics, we've got bulleted and numbered lists, we have indent, we have links. There's that paste from Word and remove formatting. There's a couple other items here, like adding a table. And I'll go over these in a little bit more detail on another page. They're not really relevant to a news item so much. Okay. And then there's an option to add a file. So, if you had like a PDF that was important to attach to the news item, you could do that. For instance, if there was an important press release that went out and a PDF that was associated with that, you could just choose it off your hard drive and attach it. And then you hit save. And let me just do that so you can kind of see the whole process and kind of where everything goes. So this would be test news item. I'm going to leave the date.
So only those designated to do website updates will have access to this, or all faculty and staff?
Only those who are designated to have updates. Right? Is that right, Ryan? I mean, I don't think we would.
I can't recall.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, who's going to do all these updates that are
Yeah.
thrown our way?
Yeah, so.
She's taking it on.
Okay.
Oh, good. Perfect.
I mean, there's an option for us to make it available for all faculty and say, hey, any faculty can add a news item to the website. I mean, it's something that we can set up and make available. Yeah.
Are there options to put a photo or something?
Yeah, so let
What was that?
me go back here. So right here, there's an image field.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So you can just attach an image and it automatically get sized and will show up in the right spot.
So it looks like I'm looking at permissions and it says that faculty, staff, and site editors can create new news items.
Okay.
Content.
Okay, yeah, I remember Noreen had thrown that out there. So, if a faculty member comes to you and says, hey, are you guys going to add my award to the website? You can actually say, oh, you can actually do it. You can do it yourself, and feel free to write a glowing, exactly. So, okay. All right, so let me hit save here just so you can kind of see where this all ends up and what happens. So once you hit save, there's kind of the result, right? There's not a lot here, so I didn't put a lot in, but there could be. You'll see that it's automatically filed in the news section for you. You'll see that the URL up there has automatically been set for you, so it lives in /about/news, and then it takes your title and converts that into the rest of the URL. So this is, a URL for this page. You could actually copy that and email it to somebody. You could email this to the faculty member and say, here's that news item I created about your award. If I go to the news list, you'll see that my test news item has now appeared automatically on the news list. Okay? I'll talk about what this is and why this is up here in a different color in a second. And then if I go to the home page, you'll see that test news item automatically shows up on the home page. So it starts, it's adding all new news items to these different lists for you automatically when you create the record. Now, this item here that's kind of tagged at the top, it's what we call sticky. So you can make certain things sticky if it's extra important and you want it to stick around for a while. Otherwise, over time, it will kind of drop off the list somewhere. Okay? So to make something sticky, if you were to edit it and go down to the bottom, there it is. So underneath publishing options, there's a sticky at top of lists checkbox. There's also a published checkbox, and that's kind of handy. Sometimes you might start working on a news item or a press release and not finish it, and so you don't want to publish it right away. You can actually uncheck this, and it will be in unpublished mode. So let me show you the sticky first, and then we'll come back to the unpublished mode. Okay, so if I go to news, so now you see there's two sticky items, and the most recent sticky item is going to be at the top. You usually don't want a bunch of sticky items because then it just sort of gets cluttered and you start to lose the effect of drawing somebody's eye to one item. But it is an option. Okay. If I make it unpublished, make it unpublished, and hit save. You can kind of see this watermark here that says unpublished. That sort of just reminds you that, hey, this thing's unpublished. And if I go to the home page, it's no longer here because it's unpublished, and so nobody else is going to see it. Now, this is good and bad. It's good because obviously you don't want anybody else to see the unpublished item. In fact, they can't. Even if they knew the exact URL and tried to go there, if they were not logged in with sufficient access, they would not be able to get it. They get an access denied error. So that's good. What's bad, or not bad, but just a little bit tricky is if you come back a week later and you want to go back and finish off that page, the question is how you get to it, right? So if you click on the content, just the top content menu option, and I know you don't have this on your computers, but just so you know, there's a master list of all the content on the website. So every single page on the website is kind of listed in this nice master list. And you can actually filter in different ways. So I'm looking for news items, and I can filter by that. I'm looking for unpublished news items, and I can filter by that. And eventually you're going to find that unpublished news item that you're working on. You can click Edit here to get back to it, and you can go back and finish it up. And then when you're ready, go ahead and publish it. Okay. Hit save. Oop, that's not good. Let's go back to the home page here. Okay, there it is. It's published. So any questions about kind of the process of adding a news item to the website?
So If one person adds a news item, can everyone with the same access edit it, or is it only the person who created it?
Yeah, good question. So if one person adds a news item, can everybody with the same access edit it? There's two different roles. So there's a faculty member role that's going to have access to create them, it sounds like Ryan's saying. And then there's a site editor role. The faculty members will not be able to edit each other's news items or anybody else's news item. They can only edit their own news item. But the site editor role can edit any news item. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, the site editor is really kind of like they're responsible for the whole website and they have access to everything. Yeah.
So when the faculty says, "Oh, I made a typo, Leori, can you go in?" Oh, I guess they can go in, but someone else catches someone else's typo.
Exactly, yeah. Okay. To delete an item, you just go back, you edit the item, and there's a delete button at the bottom down here. There it is. Okay. The preview button, I will say, is not the best preview in the world. I'll show you what happens. It's sort of this thing called the trim version we don't actually use on the website that much. It's sort of a Drupal built-in default thing. And then it shows you what the full version is going to look like down here. And then it gives you the form again. So it's a little bit cluttered. I don't ever use the preview myself. If I really want to see something and not publish it, I'll just use the unpublished option first. That way you kind of get the full view. And then there's the delete, and so you can delete an item. It'll ask you to confirm, and you can say yes. And that is done, and it's gone. I should underscore the fact that this is essentially live, right? So once this changes to statistics.berkeley.edu, that's all you have to do to add a news item to the live website is go in, you do it at content, add content, and news item. You fill out the form, and you hit save, and you've published something new on the live website, right? When I deleted it off the website. If I come in here and make an edit, as soon as I hit save, that edit is live. There's no schedule or asking Ryan to push it out for you or anything like that. It just kind of happens right away.
Are there going to be any design tweaks?
Um,
I'm wondering about the menu bar that goes right in front of the picture on the front. I mean, is there a way to?
So if you have suggestions for design tweaks, I'd say bring them, compile them and talk with Nuridian about them. And then what Nuridian's going to do is kind of collect, in addition to those, any other functional changes and suggestions that have come up. And then he and I will review and kind of talk about what is in budget and what's not and what we can do as a phase 2. We have noticed this is a little bit of a problem because we did want the feature to kind of direct people. Some of it's going to have to do with your selection of photos and possibly good editing of photos to have some space here that allows it for the homepage. Yeah. But if you have some ideas, definitely talk to Nuridian about that.
That's the only one I noticed so far, but it looks like it's not supposed to be that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in particular, it has to do with the selection of these photos, because
if you don't have anything on the left, then it would be fine.
Yeah,
It's
but
just empty space.
we could also edit some of these photos to add space and push them over and things. So, okay. Okay, so let me talk about a couple other things here. So, students, news item. Okay, the homepage image. So since we're talking about the homepage and the images. So the homepage image, even though it doesn't have you're not creating a page on the website itself, it works the same way. It's a record in the database. And so, content, add content, there's a homepage image content item. Now, the existing ones, you can see there's a little edit link that pops up here if you're logged in with appropriate access. So, you could use the same spots and click edit on this and put in a new image if you wanted to, and put in a new caption if you wanted to, and hit save. So you can do it that way, or you can do content, add content, homepage image, and add yet another image to the list. Administrative title is just kind of for what goes in the system, it's not going to get displayed. The image, obviously, you have an option to crop it. There's a little bit of instructional text down here. I forgot if I mentioned this earlier in the session, but from time to time, wherever it's kind of important, we try to put a little bit of instructional text to help you out, to just kind of remember what that field is about. So it's a good idea to just kind of look for it. It's at the bottom of the field, and so in some cases, like caption, you might have a lot of stuff, and you kind of have to remember just to look all the way at the bottom of that field. For example, this caption says, a brief one-sentence caption. Italics are okay, but other formatting will be stripped out. So it's kind of a little handy reminder. Okay. Let's see, we have about half an hour, so I'm going to go through some of these other ones here. So we talked about the homepage slide. The events, so this tab here, we'll go over to events. So your events are coming from the events.berkeley.edu calendar. What we're doing is, on a nightly basis, checking the data feed, the RSS feed from that calendar, actually it's the XML feed, and pulling in the content every night if there's any new content. So you don't actually have to, through this system, you're not going to go content, add content, event, and you will actually not even find it here in the list, if I'm correct. Because it's coming in on a nightly basis. If you want to add events to your calendar, you will need access to the events.berkeley.edu calendar for the stats department. And so you could talk to like Ryan to get access if you needed access to that, to be able to add events. Okay? But there's an events page, news, events. This is kind of an intro page, talks about the different types of events. The events that come off the calendar are here. So this is all being pulled off of events.berkeley.edu. You can filter by type or date range. We've actually sucked in all the content back to, I think, 2009. So I don't want to do a search for everything, but do like, you can find content back a while, or events back a while if you need to.
If one were to change the events here, would they get overwritten by that nightly?
Yes. I think it updates them, yeah. Yeah, if you do edit an event, I think that's a good question. I'm trying to see if you, let me go there and just double check. Oops.
Maybe we can set the permissions to be.
Yeah, I mean, most people won't be able to get to it because if you go to About, Events, Upcoming Events, if you click on the title, it's actually going to take you to events.berkeley.edu. If you do go through the content, master content list, and get to an actual event and want to edit it, what Ryan's asking is whether or not manually editing an event in here, what happens if I manually come in here and edit the event because it's being pulled from the calendar. It should nightly get overwritten, or at least ones that are still kind of listed as upcoming will get overwritten. If you update one from like 2010, because that's not in the upcoming feed anymore, it'll just, your update will stick around. So it's it's best just not to update it here. If you need to do an update, go to events.berkeley.edu. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So let me talk about this, for example. It's just a basic page of content. There's a lot of these around the website. So like awards and honors, it's just kind of a page of content. There's not a lot of fields on here. It's kind of up to you to put in whatever you want. So like if I click edit, it's just a title and a body. So the title, optional, image, and body. So what that is content, add content, page. So this is like the most basic record you can create in the system. It's just a web page. So what I recommend is you start with the most specific. If you're adding a new faculty member profile, you do that. If you're adding a new news item, you do that. And if it doesn't really fit into one of these other categories, then you're probably just adding a web page to the website, right? Like if somebody says, hey, I need a new section underneath history or a new section underneath giving, that's probably just a regular web page. Okay? And so if you were to do that, there we go. Is it loading? There we go. So just like the other ones, you get a form, you have an optional image, a body, optional documents, additional resources. Oh, I know what this is. Additional resources is a list of links. Let me show you what this looks like. If I go to test new page, and this is a test page. Okay, so I might do like Google and Bing, and let's go ahead and link that. Okay.
So could you, you just did something, you typed HTTP and then you removed it?
Sure.
Is that what that-
Sure. Okay. So when I was adding this link, I started typing in http google.com, and as I did that, it automatically removed the HTTP for me because it's here. So it's just kind of smart enough to know. Yeah. There's different protocols on the web, right? Like HTTPS is a secure. FTP and news. Chances are you're not really going to create links to either of these, you know. So you can kind of just keep an eye on that. It's smart enough that you don't have to worry about it. If you paste in the link, it'll kind of figure out it's a link. Yeah. And actually, that's fine. Okay. So when I hit save, I want you to see kind of what's happening here. So I created a new page on the website. And so this was that additional resources field. What it does is it creates a little sidebar item for you in the left sidebar. And you can kind of put whatever you want in there. So this might come in handy sometimes. It comes in handy like underneath, was it SCF where we did this?
So you'd always have links there pretty much.
So there's a difference. So these links, and I'll show you the difference. These links are part of like the menu system on the site and kind of tell you what other pages are in that same section. So the additional resources allows you to add a block of links that are kind of like, you know, like for SCF, you might want to list out links to other computing facilities that might be handy, you know, and it just kind of gives you an extra place to put that sort of stuff. Those links to other computing facilities aren't part of the menu system of our website. They're just sort of a sidebar, right?
If you wanted both on a page, is that possible?
Yeah, yeah. So if I were to edit this page, it would just show up right here. Okay. So let me show you.
Would you characterize it as an external resource? Would you ever link to an internal?
You might, you know. I mean, it's really kind of an open, you know, additional resources for you. Yeah, you might though. I mean, there might be a case where like, you know, if you're on the SCF page, it might have a link that says, you know, consulting for campus researchers. You know. Okay, so I've created a page that exists on the website, but as you notice, it's not filed anywhere. It's not in any section on the website. How do I add this underneath the About section? So let's say I'm creating a new page and I want it to be underneath the History section of the website. How do I do that? So that's called the menu system in Drupal parlance. So down at the bottom, there it is. You know, these what they call vertical tabs here are kind of all administrative functions. You know, when we talked about publishing options, right? And the two options that are in there. Another administrative function is menu. So what you can do is you can say, I want to add this to a menu. And so this is sort of the hierarchical setup of your website. It's a little bit hard to kind of grok at first, but it'll start to make sense as you're using the site. But if I want to file this page under history, you say history is my parent. The weight has to do with kind of like where in that list it appears. I'll show you that in a second. So let's hit save. Did I do that? Let's try that one more time. Okay, so now you see that this menu has shown up because this page is filed somewhere on the website. It's underneath history, and so now it knows how to create a submenu for the page. Our additional resources just got pushed down a little bit. Okay. So you kind of see what I did there? Like I've created a new page on the website, and I've said this page needs to belong within the history section.
So as soon as you put it in a menu, it actually shows the menu?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll show it's related, where it lives in the menu system. So you could actually move it around to other, menus. If this needed to be underneath resources, which is actually kind of the most common use case, is, you might, as a department, say, we really need to add, another page of resources for students, let's say. So I could do, stats, libraries, and a list of libraries that people might want to go to. And in the menu system, I'm just going to file it underneath resources. So this list is a little bit long, but it is, here we go. Oh, no, research. Programs. There it is, resources. Okay, so I'm filing it within resources, and I hit save. So you'll see now that the subnav is the resources subnav, and you'll see that resources highlighted when you're on the page because it's indicating that where you are. And if I put my mouse here, you'll see that my new page is now a link in the menu system.
So is the newest one just at the bottom, or what was the?
Good question.
Weights or something?
Right. So the weight is what determines where this page is going to land. However, the problem is when you're setting the weight, you don't really know what the weights of the other ones are. What I recommend is just leave the weight alone, and then what you can do is underneath here, there's a whole bunch of menus listed. The only one that you really need to worry about is main menu. We created one for the intranet and one for the SCF. The other ones are kind of internal to the workings of Drupal, but if I click on the main menu, here's another view of the entire website hierarchically, right? And so let me go down to, there we go, okay. So here's the resources section. There's all the pages in the resources. Here's that new page I created. You can actually drag that. If you click, and let's say I want it to be above career resources, you could do that. Or you could say I want it to be within career resources. And hit save. Did I say? There we go. Okay. So now resources, career resources, and there it is. Okay. Okay. That's how you create a new page and add it to somewhere in the system in the website. Obviously, you don't want to go creating hundreds of one-off pages just kind of whenever. It's a good idea to sort of think strategically about, how do we present to the department and the information that people need in a compact and simple way that doesn't require dozens and dozens of links to get to. Because once you start creating this really big, complicated, Byzantine website, it can, become very frustrating for students and other people who come to your website to find things.
So you could put a page in whatever organization you want, but then hide the link, from that structure. So
yeah. So let me show you what he's talking about. So here, test new page is showing up in the top menu, and it's showing up actually as a list, like an item here, right? But what Ryan's saying is you can actually create test new page, have it live as a sub page of query resources, but not have it show up in the menu system. And that actually, there's a lot of use cases for that where you might want that. Let me show you how we do that. So you go back to main menu. And there it is. So test new page. You actually just disable, you just uncheck this checkbox. And there's actually some other cases of that. So let me see. So underneath statistical computing facility and resources, there's a whole bunch of pages that are listed as disabled. But if you go to those pages, it's just, they're filed correctly, they just don't appear in the menu system because you don't want to clutter up the menu system. So let me uncheck this. And hit save. Okay, and then we go there. So you see now that there's no, it's not showing me that testing page as a sub-item. And I can click on career resources. It's not showing up in here. What that would be like, if you wanted to create a link, you'd have to explicitly create a link to that page yourself somewhere. And if you do that, so there it is. And you'll see that it actually highlights the appropriate things. It just doesn't clutter up the menu system. And so we've done that actually on quite a few pages, like I said, SCF. If I click on, let's see, like this page here, you'll see that the top, actually, maybe in fax, oops, servers, Linux.
This is a different kind of example because we have our own menu.
Oh, you're right. Okay. All right. Was it underneath this one then that we had some subpages? Oh, that's okay. You get the idea, right? I mean, to belabor it. Okay, we talked about that. So intranet page works the same way. There's an intranet page content type. The difference between intranet page and regular page is that it just has some access rules around it where you have to be logged in with a certain level of access to be able to see the content on this page. Once you create the intranet page, if you add it to the menu of the intranet, you'll see that it's showing you the intranet menu and the hierarchy of the intranet pages, and you can place it in there. Pretty simple.
What's an example? See all those disabled links?
Yeah. So in the intranet, we have a section called faculty committees, and then every committee has its own page. But we don't want to clutter up the subnav with this really long list of every single committee. So that's an example where I can show you real fast. So intranet, committees. So here's all the committees, and manually added links to various, actually those aren't committees, but there they are. Oh, where's that taking you? Oh, Google Docs, I see, okay. I'm not sure where those links are.
Aren't those disabled links that we saw in the other?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, these are the ones?
I think so, yeah. The individual committees.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. So like the undergraduate program committee has a page, it lives on the intranet, it lives underneath committees, but it just hasn't cluttered up the menu with that, so, okay. Okay, so we have about 15 minutes left. Let's see here. I want to talk about course and semester and just make sure we spend some time on how to add courses and semesters. There's one other item here, tech report, that's actually pretty simple. Maybe I'll just spend 1 minute on that. That lives underneath research.
That's something that, pretty much only faculty would.
Yeah, but it's basically, it's like adding a news item. You go to content, add content tech report, and you upload a tech report, and it shows up on this list. Okay.
Actually, sorry, on second thought, because it's being recorded, they might want to hear
Ah.
if they're watching.
Okay, I'll try to do it fast so we have some time, because the other ones are kind of important. So tech report, just like adding a news item like we went over, you fill out the form, you put in attach, if you have a PostScript file you can, but otherwise most likely you attach your PDF and you hit save, and it will automatically, the tech report is automatically, going to show up as the next item here, item 818, 819 will get created sequentially as a tech report. So that's, works the same way that news does. It's pretty simple. Okay. Okay, so courses, let's go over there. So courses are kind of the most sophisticated section on the site. So what we do is we create a semester container, and then we set up a system to automatically download the course information from OSOC. So let me walk you through that. So we actually need to add a new semester, right? We need to start adding spring.
Fall 13.
Okay, let me go fall. Okay, let me go fall high. So here's the ones that are already created in the system. So we want to add fall 2013, right? Okay, so let's content, add content, semester. So you type in fall 2013. Does anybody know off the top of their head roughly when it starts?
August 29 or something like that.
Okay.
Around Thursday.
Okay, and then 2013. You can come back and change it. The day is not as important. It's really the month and the year that are kind of important. And then this is considered a fall semester. And so we hit save. Okay. Okay. So once you've created your semester container, what's going to happen is if I click on fall, it's actually going to take me to that new item. Does that make sense?
Does it only show one fall semester at a time?
Yeah, I mean, you can actually go back through the old semesters by clicking on all semesters. But these three, fall, spring, summer, are only going to show whatever the newest or latest are. So you kind of have to strategically think about when to set that up, right? But the reason we do it that way is just because that's the way OSOC does it. So if I go to ossoc.edu, nope, it's not OSOC, it's directory, right, or schedule. Okay. So they've got just, and these at some point will switch over, and kind of constantly roll out. But what we want to do is we're going to get the data. I'm just showing you, I mean, you obviously know what this looks like, but stat. So all of this, we have a system that will kind of nightly grab all this and create the course records and keep them up to date on the website. So the way that system works is underneath configuration, it says administer course importer. And so you click on that. Okay. And so you'll see that it has these sections, import semester, and there should be 3 sections. So this is where, let's see, the fall 2012, we're done importing this on a nightly basis, right? I mean, fall 2012 is in the past. We're not really worried about updates anymore. So you can change this now to that fall 2013 semester you created.
So you just said, so when does it stop importing for, say, fall 2012, the nightly?
It will keep doing it as long as it's set up here.
So because the OSOC, or the schedule page, the only fall they have on their front page is fall 2013, does that mean that fall 2013 has been imported into fall 2012?
That is an interesting question. Let's double check on that real fast. Courses, schedule.
I would sometime run into that problem because they change it and then we still have our,
Yeah.
earlier semester container.
So it's still listing all the 2012s. Let me make a note to double check on how it knows that it's still 2012. It might be that we're passing in a parameter to OSOC in the importer that just makes sure that we don't screw up like that. But if we do, we'll have to figure out some way to prevent ourselves from doing that. Okay. All right. So going back to here, so what you do is when you're ready to start showing the latest course offerings on your website, you change this to the wherever you want. Here's the interval. So I'm sorry, it's not actually nightly. We're saying weekly here. So you could change it to And so you could change it to a different schedule if you wanted to. And then you hit save, and it should, whenever the next time the scheduler or the cron job runs that night, it will actually start to download your latest courses and automatically populate that semester for you. Okay.
So if I wanted it to update more frequently, or, never mind, I got it.
Is there a way to do it now?
You can manually run cron, but you need a high level of access to do it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's really any good way for us to build in like an auto start. I see what you're saying though. I think the best thing to do, honestly, would be to, when you do content, add content semester, and we created the new fall 2013 semester, is create it unpublished first, then set up the importer, and then the next day or whatever, come back. Once all the courses have been imported and you're ready, you can make this semester live, and then it will automatically then become this fall's semester. Make sense? In fact, why don't I go ahead and do that now since we're. Let's see here. Oh, wait, where was I? Okay, fall 2013. Okay. So, nerdy, and real quick recap since this is important for you. So creating new semesters and importing the courses, what we do is we do content, add content semester, we create the new semester record, and then underneath configuration there's a course importer option. And this is where we'll say, okay, I want this to import. Oh, is it not showing the unpublished ones? Let me change that so you can select an unpublished one. Okay. So I'll make that change. So you'll create the unpublished semester. You'll come here. You'll select fall 2013, and then you will, select an interval, how often you want it to be importing that data. Okay. One thing to note here is if you set hourly, I'm not sure if our cron is running every hour. We can go back and configure that however we want, so it may not actually pick up every hour. And then, you've got three different semesters you can import at any time. So typically that's fall, spring, and summer that you have that set up to. And you hit save, and it will start importing those on the next schedule. Okay. All right. So in the last 4 or 5 minutes, is there anything else, like questions you have about the website or anything that you really wanted to cover?
I know that there are a few pages where we have forms on them that Brian helped set up. What happened to those, and are we going to have the ability to have forms on here, or maybe, I don't know, some way of maybe creating a Google Doc form and having it show up in our own page or something like that?
Right. I think you have a couple different options. One is you still have the other server. So what we're going to do is we're going to do like this part of the website, like all the pages are going to live at statistics.berkeley.edu. But like faculty members' home pages, where it's like tilde and then their name, those are going to live on maybe like statpeople.berkeley.edu or just stat.berkeley.edu. So it's possible that we continue to do the forms the way you've been doing, where if you need a form to collect some data, you create that, Ryan sets that up on stat.berkeley.edu, and we just link to that. The other option you mentioned, I think, is a good one too. Since everybody's moving to BSpace, you could use Google Docs to set up a form and embed that in a page.
Be connected.
What's that?
BSpace.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Some other.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. it's,
Be connected, be mail, be try, whatever.
I know, I get them all confused. Whatever the Google Docs, your login there, you could do it that way.
She did that. The part about embedding the form, is that possible?
It is possible, I think, we'd have to kind of test it out to see sort of what the full user experience is if you're not logged in. Because there is kind of a password, CalNet ID required. Yeah, we can try it out. That's another option. The third option, if you need it, we can talk about. There are some modules for Drupal that we can enable that allow you to kind of build your own form, and it collects data into a database, and you can export it into a spreadsheet. We could talk about, along with other changes in the phase 2, setting that up for you and training you on that, if that's something you're going to need a lot. Okay. Yeah.
Might be a question for you, Nordine. We're changing the whole MA program and stats website, and he wants these changes done probably on Monday.
On Monday?
Yeah, so I should just update the old website as the way she wants it. Will it get moved over, or should I update it here? The reason why she wants prospective students to be able to see this new updated information on the website. So obviously I should make changes to the old website.
I think this is gonna go live next week.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's better
To just do it here?
do it here.
Okay, great, that. Great.
Yeah.
That was good.
Maybe both,
Yeah.
because in just 1 week,
Maybe.
it may be a big difference for a lot of these students, they have to make.
Well, actually, it really depends on when Honey actually gets.
Finishes it.
Finishes her
Right now you have access to both
Yeah.
to it,
Okay.
and,
You might create it on the new one and then copy paste it to the old one,
There we go. Yeah,
just
just
to
put it
have
in.
it
Yeah.
as a backup.
Okay.
And you guys will make sure that whoever needs site editor role will get that. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Good questions. Anything else? Okay. So I think we've covered. Let me just double check. But I think we've covered. Oh, adding people. Well, Ryan and Nerdy know how to do that. And we covered all the content types, right? Oh, Biblio has to do with the importing of the faculty members and grad students' pages. It's considered a Biblio record, every single it's like citation that they have. So you wouldn't, it's kind of rare that you'd manually click on Biblio and add it yourself. It's really going to be the rest of this list. All right, cool. And once you get in there and start adding stuff, if you have questions, Noreen and Ryan have been in there a lot, so they may be able to answer a lot of them, but I'm also available to answer questions. Okay, great. Well, thank you for sticking around for 2 hours. I appreciate it.
Really good.
Yeah.
Great.
Good.
Okay, so you actually do work on campus?
Well, I'm a contractor, but I work for a lot of different departments.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you have a card?
I don't have a card, but I'm happy to, or
Can we contact you?
sure, yeah. All right.
Like, if we had questions, we could probably just ask Ryan or,
Maybe, I think we have a web community alias
yeah?
that goes to people, unless, Nerdine's smiling. If it's like a technical issue, then email, me or Nerdine, and then, if it's more of a general website question, how things should be structured, whatever, then web committee gets like everybody.
Okay.
I was to give you a talk Tuesday, so until Tuesday.
Don't worry, I don't have any questions yet. So, thanks.
Here, I'll give you contact info.
Thanks.
Okay. I'm going to turn off the recorder here.